This is Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're broadcasting from the Concierge Landscape Studios, and we're brought to you by Extreme Exteriors. It's time now for a message from the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association. The MHA Minute is brought to you by Pest Control Services. When you need an exterminator, you want someone reliable and effective, give Greg Keener a call at Pest Control Services, 952-894-9748. Pest Control Services is a proud member of Angie's List and a member of the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association. That's Pest Control Services, 952-894-9748, and tell Greg that Gene and Tony sent you.
Some of the benefits of successful property management. Are you ready? On-time payment of rent, improved resident quality, stabilized income, reduced turnover, controlled expenses, improved financial performance, less property wear and tear, allowance for property improvements, enhanced property value, being proactive, not reactive, better relationships with neighbors, fewer police calls, creating a community, being a great neighbor. These are some of the benefits of good property management. And whether you run a townhome association or you are renting out your condo, duplex, or 100-plus unit building, membership with the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association gives you the tools you need to run your business effectively while minimizing the headaches. Don't be a good landlord, be a great one. Visit www.mmha.com. That's two M's, mmha.com.
Remember, listeners, you can call us on our hotline if you'd like to make a comment or you have a question about anything we've discussed on the program. The hotline number is 952-224-2668. Leave us a message there, and we will respond.
Or email address, too. Send it to my attention, Gene, Gene, at ncmgi.com. And we'll be happy to talk about your comments on next week's show. We have another question here, and this poses something that I think, Tony, is very interesting to think about. This happened this last week, I think, or recently in Florida, out of the 4th District Court of Appeals. And the question is, how many times have you wondered if your board was going to get around to pursuing that blatant parking violator next door or that nightly nuisance across the street? You know, that people are always thinking, you know what, the association never seems to come down on other people who are just in total disregard for the rules and regulations, right?
Right. You especially feel that way if you yourself have gotten a notice that you have to correct something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, there was a gentleman, his name is Robert Heath. Apparently, in his homeowners association, he was so upset, he wanted to push this to court. And he was making the statement and the claim saying, you know what? I think that the homeowner association has an obligation that they must pursue enforcement of all violations each and every time.
That was his premise, and that's why he sued his homeowners association.
Yes, the association where he lives is called the Bear Island Homeowners Association, and Heath was upset because he was asking, he sought an injunction to require his HOA to enforce the community's declaration and covenants against another owner who allegedly undertook changes or modifications outside improved their homes without first obtaining approval from the association's architectural committee. Now, it went to court. The trial held this and said, the association, however, had no legal obligation to take legal action to enforce the declaration, and they cited it was Article 12, entitled Enforcement of Declaration. They went on to say, the court said, the enforcement of this declaration may be by proceeding at law for damages or inequity to compel compliance with its terms or to prevent violation or breach of any of the covenants or terms therein. The developer, the association, or any individual may, but shall not be required to seek enforcement of the declaration.
So the association's very own covenants and restrictions stated we may seek legal action to enforce this declaration, but we are not required to.
Yeah. So what we have here is a case of someone who is feeling a great sense of injustice, and let's face it, this is something that a number of people will feel from time to time,
Sure.
especially if they have been put upon by their association before. That's usually the people that get
That's
really
right.
upset.
Well, and I would too. I would feel really discriminated against if a rule was enforced against me but not against my neighbor. And I think, in spite of what their declaration says, there's a case to be made for inequity
Yes.
if that happens.
Well, here's the part that I think is not really being addressed. This is not to say that this association hasn't talked to the other people as well. What we have here is, in the case of Mr. Heath, he probably complied to his association, but now he has someone else, a neighbor, who said, I'm not
gonna
complying.
comply.
And now he is so upset, he says, you've got to make them.
Right.
Because it's
That's
not
right.
fair.
That's right.
And I
so
think
yeah,
that's what
we
it's
don't
coming
know
to.
that the association didn't try to enforce its covenants and decided to stop short of legal action.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And so, what do you do? What do you do in this case? According to Mr. Heath, he is saying, I think the association has got to do something. Folks, what do you think? Do you think that that's right? Is it as easy as saying to the association, you must just enforce it now?
Or you
do
must
it.
go to any extreme and any lengths, including legal action, even though we've been reading about cases like this. For example, you mentioned the dog, the association that spent $500,000 trying to get a dog out of the building that was there in violation of its rules.
Oh, yeah.
How far do you go?
Yes, exactly. There's so much more to this that we want to cover. Folks, however, we're coming up to the top of the hour where we need to take a break for news and some messages. But when we come back, we're going to be talking about this issue. Does your board have the authority to enforce your community's governing documents in each and every case? Don't go away. We've got a whole nother hour of Where You Live with Gene and Tony right here on AM 1280, The Patriot.
How sweet it is to be loved by